C.
See?
Mhm.
Oh, it's up there.
Okay.
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh.
I know what it is.
Oh, T.
There's no T.
Shit. Oh, I forgot. And I thought it was taco. Damn. Luke, this game is messing with me. No, if it's not taco. Oh my god. Oh no. Okay.
No, it wouldn't be taco because it's a 4-letter word and it's a.
Come on. Why not tacos?
You're doing a 5-letter word, not a 4-one.
But still, why not put an S to do tacos? This game's messing with me.
Hello everybody and welcome to Chrontendo Month here on Gameplay and Review. Now you notice that this is being done on Thursday, and that's because I had already did the gameplay portion back on Tuesday. I decided to do 4 games, and of course they were released for the Famicom all in 1 year. And these were the only games that I've never played. And of course, there were a total of 9 games for the Famicom in that particular year. I had already played Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. as a kid. I played Popeye through emulator. I played Mario Brothers for Gameplay and Review several years ago. And I played baseball for the predecessor to Gameplay and Review, which of course was the Video Game Chronicles Gameplays, back in 2014. So the only games that I had to play were, of course, this game, this game, this game, and this game. And that's what I did on Tuesday. I played those 4 games, and I'm going to review them individually. And I'm going to start with the first game that starts off in chronological order. And it is, of course, since I can't pronounce it too well, the game I first played was
Gomoku Narabe Renju.
And this was a board game in which you have to connect a certain part, and there are white and black circles that you put on the board. And of course, this is a board game similar to Othello and Connect 4 and those other games. It, of course, in NES works. a board game, of course, and I do apologize. Show it. It's essentially the board game Go. And of course, there's the picture from NES Works. And of course, I'm going to show gameplay footage and whatever not of the game, so that way you'll get to see it. And of course, I'm showing the box art and whatever not too. And it has a 2-player mode, and I didn't think the 2-player mode was that bad. I had a little bit of fun. I had, of course, Fanimation XV a part of the video, and he didn't really care for it that much. I thought it was okay. I thought the 2-player mode was quite fun. But when it came to 1-player mode, the computer was overpowering. And I think it's a lot harder if you play against the computer. So as a result of that, it's just a regular board game. It's nothing that spectacular. It's not a bad game though, I will say that. But if I had to give the game a rating, I'm going to give it a yellow. So I'm going to have to...
Gomoku Narabe Renju.
It gets a yellow card from me. Now the next game I played was Majean, and I don't have to get a translator for this because I already know how it's pronounced. It is, of course, a game that's played in China and Japanese. It's played all around the globe, but it originated in China, and it's been a game for quite a bit of centuries, and it's been played by many people, and it got a Famicom release in 1983. And there was also another one in 1984, which is quite different. Now this game, I'll show you the NES Works picture of the game. But I got this book after, or should I say before I played this game. And of course, I will say, even though I couldn't play with Fanimation XV for this, that's because it does have one problem, and that one problem is it's only one player, so you have to play against the computer. But when I did play against the computer, I was kind of having fun with it, I will say that. I don't think this game was stellar because it doesn't have multiplayer mode. And I really feel if it would have had multiplayer mode, like a 2-player mode, there's probably a reason for that, because most likely because you could see your opponent's tiles and whatever not, and I think that's probably why they scaled it down to a 1-player mode. But I will say the 1-player mode wasn't too bad at all. I was kind of having fun with it. And I will say, when I get to my ranking, I'm going to do a ranking of these games. So you'll see that at the very end. But I will say, I didn't think this was too bad. But the 1-player mode definitely knocks it down to a yellow, unfortunately. And I'm showing gameplay footage as well from the games that I played on Tuesday. So that way you'll get to see what it looks like and whatever not. But I will say, if it wasn't for it being a 1-player mode, and if it would have had 2 players, I think I would have given this a green card, because I was having fun with it. And I think as I play it, I might actually have more fun with it. So as a result, it's in the borderline yellow card. It's a borderline yellow. Means it falls short of being green, but it's pretty close to being a green, because I had fun with it, and I will say that you might like it yourself if you're familiar with Majean. Or if you're not, definitely check out videos on what I'm not to teach you how to play Mahjong. And there's also a game facts on this particular game as well, and it will help you play Mahjong. So there you go, and you're going to see my pros and cons after this, and I'm going to go to the next game right now that I played. But for Mahjong, it gets a yellow. The next game that I played was
Popeye no Eigo Asobi.
And surprisingly enough, I had fun with this. I really had fun with this. And I was able to play with Fanimation XV for this particular game. Because what I did with Fanimation XV, I played it first. I played all the modes. And then I had him play one of the modes. And I was having quite fun with it. And if you saw my actual gameplay of that on Tuesday, you'd be very surprised on how I was having fun with it, because I was really enjoying it. And some of the things that I did with Fanimation XV was quite fun. And this, of course, is the picture, well, I should say pictures of the actual game itself, but I'm going to show gameplay of it as it is, so it really don't matter. But I will say that this was a lot of fun. I liked all the game modes, surprisingly enough, even though the last game mode, which is a 2-player only, is quite hard, but I didn't think it was that bad at all, in which you're trying to find letters to make a word. I thought that was pretty cool. And of course, the first 2 games, even though they were single player only, there were like Hangman, and I actually do like Hangman. If you've ever heard the game Hangman, you might actually enjoy those 2 particular modes, because there's one mode where it shows Japanese, and of course, if you know the Japanese word for that particular game, saying, then you're going to know what it is. But for me, since I'm not familiar with Japanese text and what I'm not, at least I don't know as much Japanese text as other people, it became a game of Hangman. So as a result, I had to figure it out myself, these particular words, and I had a lot of fun with them. I really did. It's a simple game. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun with Fanimation XV as well, because I had Fanimation XV play one particular mode, and I will say hilarity ensued. If you have not checked that particular video out, which of course has my gameplay, go ahead and do so. And you of course probably saw at the beginning of this particular video of what happened, but I'm not going to spoil anything until you see how Fanimation XV did in that one particular mode. But I'm going to say this: I didn't really have a con with this particular game, even though I don't think it has that much appeal. I really do not. I think the best Popeye game that you can play on the NES/Famicom is the original Popeye. But I will say this Popeye game, which was the last Popeye game that was ever released for the Famicom, I actually quite enjoyed this. It's to help Japanese people to get used to English words and whatever not. And it does have variety, which is pretty cool. And if you love Hangman, then you're gonna really like this particular game. So as a result, I'm giving
ポップアイの英語遊び
a green card. Now the final game that I played was
ドンキーコングジュニア算数遊び
or Donkey Kong Jr. Math. I was actually playing the NES version with the version with the title, because the title on the Famicom is actually quite different from the NES release, because the NES release in America had Donkey Kong Jr. Math as the title, where if you play the Famicom release, you'll have a different title, but it's the same game. It's the same game no matter what. And I might as well show you the page for Donkey Kong Jr. Math. And I wonder if there's 2 pages. No, there's 1. Okay. And that's the page for Donkey Kong Jr. Math. As you can see, the title screen is quite different. That's the only difference with the Famicom and NES versions of the game, is the title screen. I didn't show that when I did my gameplay because I was playing the NES version. So what did I think of this? Well, unfortunately, out of all the I shouldn't say out of all the games, I had some problems with this one. I will say that. The biggest problem that I had was with the first 2 game modes. They are multiplayer only. I mean, they're 2-player only, which means there's no single player for those particular modes. There's 2 modes where you pick out numbers and you have to either add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And of course, this is a math game, by the way, and what actually happens in it is you pick out a number, then you pick out add, subtract, multiply, or divide, and then you pick out the number again, and then you keep on doing that until you get to the total that you're supposed to get. And it's a multiplayer only, which you can only play 2 players. And it would have been better if those 2 particular games, it's the same game mode except the second game mode's harder. If there would have been a single player for both those modes, I probably would have given this a higher ranking. The only thing that I really liked was the exercise mode, which of course is single player only, and you have to either add or subtract or multiply or divide, and you do it by climbing up the poles, and it'll show a number between 0 through 9. And all you have to do to put in your answer is by moving to the left to the next pole. And that's how you pretty much do that particular game mode. It doesn't show it in here. It shows just the one game mode in this picture. But I'll show you the other game mode anyway, because I'm going to show gameplay footage as it is. But I will say that this was okay at best. I'm not going to say that it was a bad game, because I do like math, I really do. But the problems with it keep it from giving a green card big time. But I will say that the problems don't keep it from being this particular card. But I will say it keeps it from being a red. And that's a yellow. I'm giving Donkey Kong Jr. Math a yellow card. And of course, all the gameplay footage that I showed was from Tuesday. If you have not watched that video, definitely check it out. Alright, my number 4 pick is, of course,
Gomoku Narabe Renju.
my biggest gripe with this is with the one-player mode, and that's what keeps it from being higher on my list. There's one game in particular that could have been lower, but I will name that when I get to my number 3 pick, because my number 3 pick is, of course, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, or, if you want to say it through the Japanese title, and I hope I'm pronouncing that.
Donkey Kong Jr. Sansuu Asobi.
Yeah, and the reason why is because there are no single player modes for those particular 2 game modes, and that's the reason why it's number 3 on my list, because I really wish there would have been a single player mode for those. If it would have been a single player, I probably would have ranked Donkey Kong Jr. Math higher on my list. But I will say that it's definitely better than my number 4 pick. And the problem is I can't pronounce that other word properly, so I'm just saying that's my number 4 pick. But of course, Donkey Kong Jr. Math is number 3. Number 2, of course, is a surprise, because even though there's one problem with it, and it's a single player only game, but I will say I still had quite a bit of fun with it despite that. And even though I didn't know how to play it really, I still had fun with it, even though I did give it a yellow card, and that's Majean. I think with much more practice, I think I could get a little better with it and have much more fun with the game. It's still a yellow card, but it's not that bad, and I definitely recommend that you give it a try. And that leaves only one game, and of course you probably already know what that is, because I had already said that I really enjoyed this, and it was the only one that got a green card for me. It is
Popeye no Eigo Asobi.
There you go. I had a lot of fun with that, and of course I definitely like Hangman, so I was definitely going to enjoy this, even though I wasn't familiar with it until I played it. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I had quite a bit of laughs when Fanimation XV played one of the game modes. I really had fun. Like I said, definitely check out Tuesday's video, because I really had fun with it. And Fanimation XV, surprisingly enough, was a lot of fun to have for that particular video that I did. But those are my rankings. The Popeye game got my number 1. I had a lot of fun. It was the only green card. The only green card. So I thank you all for watching, and I will be doing a gameplay review. It's only going to be one game this time, and it'll be for Saturday. So if you like these videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to check out new videos and want to make sure that a new video is published that you want to see, all you have to do is click on the bell. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you next time. And like I said, it'll be one game this time for gameplay and review. That'll be on Saturday. Stay safe and stay awesome, and happy gaming.